Yes, guys, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to this afternoon's live stream. And things finally seem to be moving along in the transfer window for Chelsea. Raheem Sterling announcement should be imminent. He's penned his farewell message to the Manchester City fans, so we should be expecting that hopefully today, if not tomorrow. And I'm delighted to be joined by Pys to go through all the latest news. Bro, thanks for coming as always. And there's only one place to start. Kalidou Koulibaly, the Napoli and Senegalese centre-back. We had been linked with him kind of towards the start of the window. It's gone a little bit quiet whilst we're kind of looking at the likes of De Ligt and trying to get a Nathan Ake deal done. But last night kind of come out of nowhere that, a 5-year deal has been agreed. Fee is going to be 40 million euros, I believe, total. And kind of just the final sign-off needed from the clubs. Boehly's moved pretty quickly on this one. Napoli are notoriously quite difficult to deal with. De Laurentiis, the owner, he's quite a hard guy to deal with. But it looks like things are moving pretty swiftly towards a conclusion there, and he will join the club. Mate, what are your thoughts on that? Because as I said, it's come pretty quickly, but it would be a great signing if we can get this one over the line.
Yeah, good to be back first off. I mean, it's only 1:30 in the UK right now, so I guess we might get a here we go today. I mean, Fabrizio put a tweet out about 9 a.m. saying, it's kind of Chelsea preparing the final proposal. So hopefully it gets sent today and they accept it really quickly, and then everything just sort of blows up like it did yesterday, because it was crazy. It really was. It came out of nowhere. I woke up yesterday just thinking about Sterling, and then we nearly got a Koulibaly here we go. I'm just like, how has this happened? But yeah, really, really good signing for us if it gets over the line. I love it. I really, really like Koulibaly. He brings all the things that I want in a Chelsea back line, and next to Silva as well. Hopefully Colwill stays. Like, he's a perfect person to learn from. You've got Silva, and now you've got Koulibaly. Like, it's just brilliant. And another thing as well, Edouard Mendy in goal, obviously, like, it's very good, because Mendy was saying the other day, like, we need to get used to the new defenders and stuff like that. So bringing Koulibaly in is brilliant, because they play together at international level. So there's already that understanding there. So yeah, I'm really excited about this signing.
I mean, it's one of those that seems to have been in the making for a number of years. He's a player that would always be linked with the Premier League, like every transfer window, year after year after year, been linked with Chelsea in the past as well. It looks like it's finally going to be happening. 31 years of age. I mean, mate, what do you reckon of, I mean, not that it really matters that much, but it's going to be a 5-year deal. Chelsea in the past, under the previous ownership, very much offered a 1-year rolling contract policy for any players over 30, which I'm kind of glad to see the back of. What do you make of Koulibaly being offered a 5-year deal?
Yeah, I think it's not confirmed to be a 5-year deal, but a few outlets are saying it. So I think the likes of Demartio and stuff. So yeah, I mean, if it is a 5-year deal, I think it's a bit long, but at the same time, it just means you have to negotiate less, I'm guessing. So, like, say we give him a 3-year contract and you don't give him like a +1, say it was like a straight 3-year contract. If he's really good for 3 years, then you have to try and convince him to stay, like if he's like another Thiago Silva. So it's really, really hard, because, all the elite clubs have been after Koulibaly for years. So, I said this the other day on my Twitter, but he's really a one club man. It's kind of like Thiago Silva. He's never wanted to leave. Napoli have never entertained a sale. It's literally another Thiago Silva signing for us. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Well, I'm excited as well. 31 years of age, a great, great defender. I'm surprised that, as you say, mate, realistically, only been at Napoli. I'm sure there's been plenty of opportunities to leave. But mate, just a quick word on Boehly. How impressed are you with like kind of the way that he's operating business? Because we've seen him jetting around all over the place, meetings with George Mendes, meetings with Barcelona. He seems to be taking a lot of this on himself. He's the kind of the interim sporting director, as it were. But a lot of people are very impressed with the way that he conducts business. How impressed have you been with the way that he's gone about things? Because it's kind of a ruthless efficiency that we're not used to seeing in the transfer market from Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean, this deal has really, really impressed me. I mean, the reporting we had was that he met Fali Ramadani, which is Koulibaly's agent, on the weekend. So that's what, 3-4 days ago now. And then this week, with sorted personal terms, just like a click of a finger, and now we're putting the bid in. So yeah, like there's no messing about from him. Like, he's what's the price they want, the terms, okay, can we do it? If we can, bang, bid on the table. If not, we walk away. It was kind of similar for Rafinha, right? You know, it was so quick. Like we just heard about a bid going in. I know we tried to hijack Richarlison late on, so he's very, very active in the market. De Ligt as well. I think people misunderstanding it a bit. I do think Todd Boehly tried with that one, but I think, you know, players' preference to go to Bayern and also their high price has made him move on to other options. Whereas if Marina was still here, she would trying to be, you know, still haggling around with De Ligt, see what could happen, wait a little bit. But no, he's like, can we get this player? If it's a no, we go on to the next one. It's as simple as that. It's like a rolling system, and I really, really like it because it means we can get business done so much faster.
Yeah, no, for sure. Just one thing on De Ligt before we go back to Koulibaly. There's a few people in the chat saying, like, does that mean De Ligt's not happening, mate? Would you fully expect that De Ligt deal's kind of dead now? Wouldn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't never say never because you just don't know, but it very much appear that Koulibaly and it'll then be maybe Ake and Kimpembe possibly coming in as well. You think De Ligt's finished now with Chelsea?
I think so, yeah. I mean, all the reporting was that he's the alternative to De Ligt in terms of he's a
Yeah,
cheaper replacement, or a cheaper option, which is, I mean, to be honest, I can't believe Koulibaly has been sort of branded as this alternative kind of
yeah,
fallback option. It's crazy to me. I feel like he should have been our first choice, in my opinion. But yeah, I can understand why they would want to go for De Ligt because of his age and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it looks like probably. Mm, Koulibaly, maybe Ake slash Kimpembe.
yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of sort of different reporting going around right now, but yeah, I think the Ligt's probably dead in the water because I mean, what is he? Minimum 70 million. Like you've got to think of
Yeah.
what we need to spend on other areas as well, like and what we have already spent. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. I think it's done. We explored it, wasn't happening, so we moved on and got Koulibaly done quickly. Mate, where do you see him fitting into the Chelsea defence? You know, because Napoli, he's played there, he's shown what a good defender he is, and with Senegal as well. Very much can play, obviously playing the four. Where do you expect him to line up in the three? Because it looks like we're going to go with the three. Do you expect him to line up left side, right side, middle, or do you think he could do all three?
I think you could do all three. To be fair, I mean, it's interesting because Ake slash Kimpembe are again left sort of centre back options. Ake particularly because he's left footed. So you'd think if we brought Ake in, he would be guaranteed to be the left centre back. But then it's a weird one because Koulibaly has played left centre back in a four for Napoli for years. So I've said he definitely can play right centre back because he's right footed. So it's kind of similar to the Rudiger situation where Rudiger was playing on the left, but he was right footed. So then you remember Rudiger in a few of the cup games last season. I think Spurs at home, he played a right centre back and a free, and he was really good. So
Hmm.
I think he can do any role. To be fair,
Yeah, no, definitely, and some much needed experience coming into that back line. Considering Aspie is probably going to move on, we've lost Rudiger, we've lost Christensen. Yeah, great. These young players are good in that, but it's nice to have some kind of experience replacing it in the back line. And Koulibaly is certainly that. And hopefully this week we could get a sign off on it. So Koulibaly probably going to be the first defender through the door at the club. Pi, so who do you expect to join him? I mean, talks with Nathan Ake are pretty advanced now. Personal terms on a 5-year deal, I believe, are agreed pretty much. Just the fee to be sorted out, 45 million pounds. We would presume that he'd be the second one. Do you expect more than two to come in?
um, yeah, I'm not sure. To be fair, I was having this debate on another stream yesterday. I was thinking like. I'm not sure if we buy three central defenders because the whole reporting is Tuchel wants three defenders, but then if Aspi leaves, I was saying like who's going to be the backup sort of right
Yeah.
back, right wing back? Like that would then be four defenders. So I think it would be two centre backs and a backup for Reece James, or sort of on the right hand side. I'm not sure who that will be. I know it's been mentioned to or linked to Jonathan Klaus, but he's also in talks in Marseille, I think. So yeah, I'm not sure. Looks like we want replacements before letting Aspi leave, but yeah, Nathan Ake is seemingly advanced. It's just can we agree a fee that we want to because I think Todd Boehly's not going to overpay for anyone. I think he's trying swap deals, he's trying add-ons and stuff. So yeah, he's doing well on the negotiating table.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I mean, it looks like Ake probably will arrive as well. I mean, do you think Koundé's dead in the water as well, like the De Ligt deal is? I mean, For me, I thought if Chelsea really definitely wanted him, this would have been done. This would have been the first deal to be done. It would have been the easiest one to get done. Do you think Koundé and Chelsea is kind of finished now?
Yeah, I think so. Unfortunately, I think it's more like the Alexandro version 2. This, we've been told for the last summer and this summer we're going to sign him, and we just haven't. I don't think we will. I think it's been pretty. It's been made pretty clear to us that it was an old sort of ball-driven target, Marina slash Scott McLaughlin, the scout slash whoever else. Yeah, it doesn't seem like Tuchel wants him as much as those guys, and because Tuchel has the final say, you're really seeing who his targets are now. Like you've seen the links to Kimpembe. Do we get those links if Marina's here? I'm not so sure. I think we probably would sign Kunde, and Tuchel would be having to work with it. Not that he'd be unhappy. I just think that now he's got full control. It's like he can get whoever he wants within reason. You know what I mean? So now we're seeing the lack of Kunde links and the lack of movement. It's like, well, Tuchel clearly doesn't want him as much. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure it's dead in the water, but I think it's pretty dead. If you get what I mean, like it's not fully over. I think it's just yeah. There's a small chance.
Yeah, I'd say a small chance. Just like on the defence for next season, mate. Would you expect it to line up something like maybe Thiago Silva, Koulibaly, and Nathan Ake? Do you think that would be first choice back three?
What's that?
Next season, and obviously presuming we're going to stick with a three, which it looks like, although some of the targets are indicating that we could switch to a four or play a four more often. Would you expect, as things kind of stand right now, the kind of the first choice back three to be Silva, Koulibaly, and Ake?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't know. I assume it's too early to sort of talk about
Yeah.
formations and stuff, but like uh, we probably will still start with like the three and use it in the most games. But I feel like his recruiting, obviously, to have that option to switch to a four more. Um, yeah, I still feel like if we want to play a back four regularly, we need a defensive midfielder, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm not so sure. I think as it stands, you're probably right. Yeah, if we sign both of those two.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, yeah, defence things seems to be picking up a little bit now. Koulibaly almost through the door, Ake almost through the door. You'd expect maybe one more, and definitely, as you say, maybe some backup in the fullback areas. That does need to be addressed. So, mate, moving back to the attackers, obviously we touched on it. Sterling is now obviously in LA. Flew out yesterday afternoon, private jet with Brozier as well. I think on the same flight. That should be announced imminently. In terms of other attackers that we've been linked with, Serge Gnabry. Reports emanating out of Germany would suggest that he'd cost about £34 million. 26 years of age, German international. He's done well at me. I think he's a great player. What do you reckon of this one, Pys? Because obviously Rafinha's gone to Barcelona, and we are, by all accounts, actively looking for another forward player. I mean, does Gnabry fit the profile? Is that a move that would excite you?
It's a bit of a I don't know. It's a bit of a weird one for me. This because for me, Rafinha and Gnabry are two different profiles, which is confusing me because the whole reporting was Tuchel wanted like a winger that was going to tie defenders in knots, that was fast and could dribble and things like that. Gnabry for me is more of a sort of an inside forward who's got a really good shot. Like he's not as quick. He's not a 1v1 winger. I feel like if anything, he's not similar to Sterling, but he's got good movement. He gets in the right positions, and he's got a banger of a shot on him, left and right foot. So yeah, I'm not too sure about this one. I think I would be excited, but I'd be interested to see how how Tuchel would use him because like
Yeah,
for me, him and Rafinha that's a very like Gnabry as a fullback option. That's a very different player in my opinion.
yeah, it is a bit of a different profile. I mean, I suppose when you're looking at on the market and kind of like good value for money, kind of smart business, good options. Gnabry at 26, great age, and 1 year left on his contract. 34 million pounds would represent again very very good business. But I mean, I don't know how concrete the links are. I mean, obviously, Chelsea interested in him, but I think it's one of those that we'd have to kind of look at it and see what the situation is. I wouldn't say it's a priority right now. Priority is obviously getting some defenders in through the door, but then we might revisit that a little bit later on. In terms of other attackers, I mean, another one that's kind of on the names is Rafa Leao at AC Milan. Obviously, Portuguese international, I believe, had a great season last season. His contract expires in 2024. He's not yet signed a new contract at AC Milan. Chelsea, again, potentially interested in him. And Simon Phillips saying that Chelsea have had some optimism back from AC Milan on Leao. And he's been spoken about in the same conversations as Hakim Ziyech going to Milan. I mean, Leao is going to cost a lot of money. I think 100 million euros was the reported figure. 2024, his contract expires, as I said. I mean, Pys, is Leao kind of the box office sort of name that Chelsea should add to their front line, or do you think this one's very much with a view to maybe happening next year?
Well, it would definitely scare rivals if we got him right now. I know Man
Yeah.
City have been interested in him. Yeah, very, very direct winger, quick, strong, physical. Definitely seems to be improving year by year at AC Milan. I spoke to a few of their supporters and they said like a couple of years ago he was very, very raw, but he's improving his end product now. It's still not polished, but he's definitely getting a lot better. And I think his attributes suit the Premier League. But he's so physical. Like he's like I think he's 6'2" or 6'3", and he plays on the wing. Like he's quite a force. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't want him running at you really. So yeah, I think it would be a great signing. I just don't think it's realistic. Although I don't know, to be honest with you, because everyone's been saying, you know, the whole reporting ages ago was Todd Boehly wants a statement signing, wants a big signing.
Yeah.
If we put 80 million down on the table plus Ziyech, what are they going to say? They really going to reject that? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we was not willing to pay 70 million for Delict, but we was looking at it. So you don't know. You really don't know. So I wouldn't rule it out. I just think I think it's a bit unlikely. Just because of the price. The price tag is so high. But again, I mean, getting Koulibaly for cheaper than Delict, it does allow you to spend more in another area if you want to. So it's very, very interesting.
It is. And, you know, if he's got no plans of extending his contract, which runs out, end of next season? Well, no, 2024, sorry. You know, Milan would be looking to maybe, next season, like next year, sorry, is going to be the lot. Well, they won't get as much money for him. So they'd have to sell this year. They're going to get the maximum amount of money for him. I think it's one to keep an eye on. But again, I'm not so sure that would really happen this window. It's probably not a priority. But in terms of attackers, mate, do you think another one definitely needs to come in?
Yeah, definitely. We need another attacker, I think. Yeah, especially if Ziyech is going to leave. That's why I don't really get the Gnabry links because I wanted more of a creator, to be honest with you, to accommodate Sterling, like to give him more chances. That's why I really wanted Rafinha because his creative stats are really good. And also in terms of like the comparison between him and Ziyech, like he's also a good dribbler. He's very, very fast. Like for me, pace on the wing is a big thing in the Premier League. It really is. And yeah, I do think we need another winger. Not so sure on Gnabry, but we'll see if we get him.
Yeah, we definitely will see. I mean, so you wouldn't feel too confident going into this season coming up with just having added Sterling to the front line. You fit like
No,
no,
not really. I just think it's a bit lackluster. Um, and of course, like it's understood that Tuchel does want two forwards. So if you end up with one, it's a bit like you didn't really do the job for him. So yeah, I think we'll get another forward. Definitely, I think we'll get all the positions that Tuchel wants eventually this window.
yeah,
I really do. I think we'll get two centre backs. I think we'll get another forward. And then seeing what's left, potentially we look at midfield, but that's potentially. And also, obviously, if we got to replace Aspi if he goes, so yeah.
yeah. I mean, mate, in terms of outgoings, you know, obviously it's great to see players coming in, but there's no denying that the squad is massively bloated. You know, there's a lot of players that need to be moved on, a lot of players that aren't the required standard to play for Chelsea. Are you concerned at all at how difficult it's seemingly proving to move players out? Because, you know, Ross Barkley still on the books, you know, Batshuayi still on the books, Bakayoko, etc. I mean, by all accounts, Timo Werner needs to be moved on. You know, it's proving difficult to shift these players on, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. You know, especially because they've had less time with the whole sort of transfer, and like they've had the takeover and stuff. Like, let's be real, Todd Boehly, like Tuchel will tell him who needs to go, but we're negotiating so many incomings that you can only dedicate a certain time for the outgoing. So you'll see probably the likes of Barkley, Sarr, they'll probably get loan or permanent moves later on in the window. But for right now, it's all focused on rebuilding the squad. So it is hard to get rid of them, especially someone like Timo Werner as well, because he's had interest, but his wages are £272,000 a week. Like who's even like even if he takes a pay cut, like what would he go down to below 200? I mean, who's paying that
Mate,
as well?
oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like he's on crazy wages. This is the problem that the old regime have given us. But I do understand it as well, is because at the time when you want to secure a Werner who we was excited about at the time, you
yeah.
need to give them high wages. So it's a bit of a you know, it's a bit of a sticky situation.
I mean, mate, just moving on to the kind of the players that are going to have an opportunity to impress during this pre-season. I mean, like you've got the likes of Conor Gallagher, Brozier, Colwell as well. I mean, obviously pre-season will determine whether they're going to get a chance in the squad or not. I mean, who out of those kind of three there do you think deserves an opportunity next season? I mean, there's a lot of talk about Colwell. Do you think he'll be get given a go and get given a shot next season in the squad, or do you think it could be a Premier League loan instead?
I think he'll go on loan. I don't know if he's going to want to be back up. I mean, I feel like he wants to play really regularly, but who knows? I mean, let's see if he impresses Tuchel in pre-season. Chalobah got plenty of minutes last season, so who
Yeah.
knows? There's a lot of games, like, we played like 60 plus games last year. I think it was like 66 or 67. I
Mm.
think we played the most in the, what was it, whole of England or something like that? Maybe Europe. I think it was England. Yeah, let's see how he goes. I still want to watch him in pre-season because I know he's got a lot of hype around him, but I've not watched him too much. So I'm interested to see myself whether the hype's worth it, I'm guessing.
Yeah, because a lot of people rave about him, like a lot. I mean, I've got to be honest, I didn't watch much of Huddersfield last season, but by all accounts, he's a very good player. But yeah, as what I will say is, it's totally different playing week in week out for Huddersfield than it is playing in the Premier League every week for Chelsea. That is a big step up in quality. I'm not saying that he can't do it, but if he's to expect regular football, I think that's unrealistic on his behalf. And just on that in general, mate, you see a lot of things coming out that academy players or younger players sort of coming back and saying that they want regular football or they're going to leave. I mean, what do you make of that sort of stuff? I don't know if a lot of these players are in a position to be demanding regular football at Chelsea.
Yeah, I spoke about this a bit, like, as well. I'd love Colwell to stay and Armando Broja and stuff like that. Potentially even Ampadu or Gilmore for a backup midfield option, but they want to be playing regularly. And I can kind of understand it because they've seen, the likes of Livramento, Lamptey, Gurhey, Tamori, Abraham. They've seen all them leave and just bang it elsewhere. So as much as they love Chelsea, they want to progress their careers and they rate themselves highly. So you know, for me, I'll the instant fan reaction is like, just calm yourselves down a bit. Like,
Yeah.
you'll get game time, but just why don't you just fight for your spot and stuff? But at the end of the day, I can also understand why they want to, or why they might want to leave.
Yeah, it's a tricky one because we've seen so many players from the academy move on and do really well elsewhere, and then we've seen players come through and do great jobs like Reece James, etc., Mason Mount. So they probably see that and think, oh yeah, we're just as kind of good, or we can have that much of an impact. We want to play, but I think they need to be patient as well. 19, 20, etc. It's young. There's still plenty of time ahead of them, even though they didn't play that regularly for a season or two. There's still plenty of time for these guys to break through into that Chelsea first team. They don't need to instantly kind of rush off and go and play somewhere else. But I mean, just on Ampadu, a lot of good reports about him. Obviously, he was on loan at Venezia last season in Serie A. Very versatile, can play obviously wing back, can play midfield. He's another interesting one. I think we signed him when he was about 16 from Exeter. What do you make of him? Because as you said, there's potential. He could maybe be an option in midfield. But again, that area of the pitch is very bloated as well. There's a lot of players in there.
Yeah, good player. I like him. I'm looking forward to seeing him in pre-season. I think the thing with Ampadu is, like, he's got a lot of experience now. I know a couple of his loans
Yeah.
haven't done too well, like Sheffield United, Leipzig, and stuff, but he's still been in those, different leagues and stuff like that. He went out to Serie A last season, so yeah, he's played in different leagues, different climates. So yeah, I think he's got experience behind him, and he's really, really good for Wales as well. He's one of their main stars. Yeah, I'd like to see him play in midfield. To be honest with you, I'd like to see him in the DM. I think he can. If we don't sign someone, he's kind of the more profile I'm looking for in the midfield in terms of strength, physicality, covering ground fast, tackling, things like that. So yeah, for me, he's more of the traditional DM, but he's very good on the ball as well. Very, very good on the ball. I think he'd be a great option in the squad. I just don't know how likely it is. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. The amount of games, and obviously with the fact there's 5 subs now, there's obviously there are options for a lot more minutes. Just on a couple of other midfielders, unfortunately, obviously Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Kante not got access, obviously, into the States due to their vaccination status. So they obviously at home not going to take part in the pre-season tour. How much of a problem do you think that is, mate? Because obviously for Kante, he's getting on a bit. We know Tuchel loves him, but he's only going to have played 1 game in pre-season by the time we get to the first game of the season against Everton. And for Ruben, last year was a big year. This is potentially a big year, and to miss a pre-season tour, that's not the best for him either, is it?
Yeah, it's not the best. I mean, the thing is with those two, it's like they're not new signings. Like they've played for under Tuchel for a little while now. So for me, it's not too much of a concern. Obviously, ideally, you want pre-season, but um, yeah, they'll be keeping fit and stuff like that. Probably be at Cobham, I'm guessing. With whoever stayed back, maybe there'll be a coach there or something. I'm sure they've got stuff planned out, but yeah, it's not ideal for sort of if Tuchel's going to do new tactics and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, Kante's a very experienced player, and Ruben's experienced now as well. People forget how old Ruben is
Yeah.
now. Like he's not a kid anymore. So yeah, I think in terms of like taking new tactics and stuff when the squad get back for sure, I think will be all right. And also, I think they will get 1 game of
Yeah.
pre-season because it's away at Udinese in Italy we're playing, and that's our very last game. So I'm guessing they'll meet up with the squad there and play. So
Yeah, I think.
at least they get something, I guess.
Yeah, they'll get something. I mean, yeah, just on the midfield itself, mate. Obviously, before we went into the window, everyone was kind of saying, and the message very much was that, a holding midfield player is very much the priority for this transfer window. One of the main areas to improve. But you know, we're getting away into the window. There's no links really at all to any holding midfield players. Does that surprise you?
Yeah, it does. I just think I really think we want Declan Rice.
Yeah,
I do. And I think with the fact that him, not coming and stuff like that, he's not being allowed to leave by West Ham such a ridiculous price. I can kind of see the idea of like why sign someone that could then sort of, if you know you're gonna if you know you're waiting for Declan Rice, why then sign someone else kind of thing. But at the same time, if we want to move to a back four, I think we need someone. So that's where I'm like hoping for Ampadu, to be honest with you. I'm hoping he can step up and do a job. But yeah, I do think they eventually will buy Declan Rice. It's just a matter of when, in my opinion.
yeah. No, I totally agree on that. As you say, there's no point just buying someone for the sake of it. If Rice is the number one target, I think we've got enough options in there to kind of get by. And if it was a case of right, Rice is not coming this summer, but it'll come next summer, I think we can just leave. We could just leave those midfield options. I don't think there's any point just bringing someone in for the sake of it. Someone else I wanted to talk about who's got a really important season ahead of him, mate. It looks like he's bulked up in the gym a bit. He's been back in preseason training for quite a while longer than any of the others. Callum Hudson-Odoi. How do you see this season for him? He's obviously going to. Firstly, mate, you fully expecting him to stay at the club? He's not going to go out on loan, is he?
No, I don't think so. I think he'll fight for his place. We definitely need wing options as well. Like we've got Werner, Pulisic, Sterling, Hudson-Odoi. Who else? Who else have we
Well,
got?
Mount,
Mount,
Ziyech.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ziyech going on loan. So yeah, no, he'll definitely stay. Big season for him. We say this every season, but he's come up with the quotes saying, he's bulked up. He definitely has. He's going to barge
Yeah.
people off now. I'm quite excited. Like, he's saying he's got his speed back. He's feeling better. So yeah, horrible sort of injury for him last season. The quotes he came out with saying he could like not pass a ball 10 yards, and the nerves in his leg were messed up or something like that. Yeah, weird injury, and he was out for ages.
Yeah, he
I remember,
was.
I remember, I remember thinking like Tuchel kept saying like every couple of weeks he'd be like, "Oh yeah, he's back next week." And he just never came back. We was like, "What the hell's happened to him?" But yeah, it was a weird one. But he was playing decent in some spells
Yeah.
last season. Actually, I remember what was the Champions League game where he set up Ziyech with that cross. He was really good in that game.
Yeah.
What was it?
I think
Who
that's
was that
Malmo.
away?
Malmo
Malmo
away.
away. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think. Club World Cup, I think he was pretty good. He set up the cross for Lukaku's header. Yeah, he was doing decent in some of the games. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him.
No, I'm as well. And again, he's only 21. He seems like he's been around for quite a long time, but he's still only 21. There's a lot of improvement in his game. Do you think there is an opportunity? There is a chance that if say no more attackers come in, there's a big opportunity for Callum to get that left wing position nailed down as his own for next season. I mean, do you think he's got the ability and the capabilities to actually do that?
I don't know where Sterling's going to play.
Yeah,
If Sterling plays off the left, I think even if Hudson-Odoi does amazing, I don't think Sterling gets benched.
no,
Sterling's a better player, but I think Hudson-Odoi can. I'm not sure about nail down a spot, to be honest,
yeah,
because if we sign two wingers, then you'd think they'd start most of the games, whoever they are,
yeah.
whoever the next one is. But he can definitely like be the next sort of option in terms of rotation. Like for me, it's like he's fighting with everyone else. So you got Pulisic, Werner, Hudson-Odoi. Like they're all fighting for that, you know, rotational option. But it's not really rotational because like they're still going to start quite a lot of games in my opinion. Like people don't like early on in the season, yeah, like it's like a one game a week and stuff like that. But as
Yeah.
soon as you start playing Champions League group stages, things like that, you have to rest players because
Mm.
if you have like I don't know, say we play like a Malmo for example. I don't even know if they're in it, but I'm just using them. So if we play like a Malmo next season again, then you have like I don't know, um, Arsenal or United or a big team on the
Yeah.
weekend. That's when Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic, they get their chances, and if they play well in that Champions League game, then logic suggests they then play that game at the weekend. So that's what they've got to look forward to.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, just on it, but if another winger does come in and we stick with this 3-4-3, what do you think that means for Mason Mount? Because obviously, outstanding season last season, the most consistent of our forward players, putting up decent numbers. You'd expect Sterling's definitely going to start. If another winger comes in, say like a Gnabry or someone like that, you'd expect them to start as well. If we stick with the 3-4-3, do you still expect Mount to start most games?
I don't think we will stick with it if we sign two wingers.
Yeah,
That's been my whole thing the whole time. I don't think we will. Tuchel said depending on the market he might change, but the plan is not to. But it depends on what happens. So I think he kind of meant, well, if we sign one winger, I'm sticking Mount in the front three again. But
yeah,
if we sign two, I think we might change it up. I don't know. It's too early to tell, to be honest. But just off the face of thinking logically, Mount starts every game. We sign two wingers. They're not going to be on the bench, so you've got to fit
no.
them all in. What does that mean? Well, it means you change formation. So yeah,
I would agree on that. If another one comes in, I'd be surprised if we didn't stay with that. I mean, I just want to bring this up from the chat. This Milinkovic Savic stuff that's not there's not really any substance to any of that, is there? Kind of, I swear this guy gets like shopped around every window. His agent just puts a bit of chat out, but he actually never ends up leaving Ice. So there's no truth to any negotiations with Lazio, is there?
I mean there might have been, but it didn't come to anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean his price is so high as well. So yeah, I never thought this one would happen. There wasn't enough reporting around it for me.
Yeah, no, yeah, this is it. There wasn't exactly an awful lot on it. So no, Milinkovic Savic, I think, is highly unlikely to happen in that regard. What was I going to say, mate? Obviously, yeah, we've done. Obviously, Koulibaly is going to join. Ake's almost joined Sterling. The announcement should be pretty soon. Um, Yeah, and I mean, first game's on Saturday, mate. How looking forward to it are you for that one? You know, first game of the preseason tour Saturday. I think it might be a bit early for Sterling to be involved. I was reading, but mate, are you excited to see Chelsea playing again? It feels like it's been ages since that Watford game.
Yeah, I am. But at the same time, like looking at our squad, there's a lot of kind of players I don't want to watch, particularly. To be honest with you, that have gone the likes of Batshuayi and things like that. Like, I
Yeah,
don't really
Jesus.
care, especially because the game's at I think 3 a.m. and stuff. So if I'm
Ugh.
staying up to watch that, a few players like that, not really interested. But the likes of Colwell, Ampadu, Gilmore, Havertz, always Hudson-Odoi. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing those guys. But there's probably going to be. I don't know, maybe. I mean, last preseason he was doing like one half one team, like another half
Yeah,
another team.
normally,
So
normally what it is, isn't it?
I hate that because you only want to watch one half, like you know what I mean, or there's someone in the second half team or something that you want to watch, but the rest of it is like drink water and stuff. But even though he's gone, but yeah, you know
Yeah,
what I mean. Like it's like I don't know.
yeah. No, mate. These first games will definitely be one team and a half. But no, it is exciting once you start getting the preseason games underway. You know, certain tactics, seeing certain players. Mate, how important is this? Just wanted to mention Conor Gallagher. We've spoken about him before. Had a good season at Palace. Still only 20s, an England international, obviously. I think he probably plays best as a number 8. I can't really see him playing in the front line. Mate, do you think he's not really a pivot player either? Do you think his future very much hinges on what formation we play?
I think so. Yeah, I said this few a few months ago now, or a couple of months ago when Tuchel started talking about it. I was like, well, it doesn't really make sense in this formation we use at all. He's a number 8. Um, yeah, he's not a pivot player, so Christ, yeah, I don't want to see him in that pivot. I know Tuchel's going to do it in pre-season, but geez, yeah, nah. And for me, nah, I don't think he's technically secure enough on the ball at all. His pass completion rate is awful as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't rate him as highly as others, to be fair, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And mate, final thing before we round out, the future of Armando Broja. I mean, £30 million, is potentially going to get out from West Ham, maybe Newcastle. Again, he's another one of those that we mentioned earlier, that wants to play regular football, even though his performances don't really warrant that sort of those sort of minutes. What do you think we'll do with him? Because obviously, we haven't really got any number 9s in the squad, essentially. I mean, Havertz will play there. I mean, Sterling could obviously fill in as a false 9, etc. But in terms of centre forwards, he's kind of the only one in the squad. What would you do with him? Because, I mean, we saw him at Southampton on loan. He started quite well and kind of tailed off and wasn't that impressive for large parts of the season. For me, mate, if you get £30 million for him, I'll be quite happy to take it. Where do you stand with Broja?
Yeah, I kind of want him to stay, to be honest with you. I do think we need that out and out striker option still. I feel like he can learn a lot from, Tuchel as well. He's a big physical striker, but again, if we sell him for £30 million, it means more business we have to do. It means we have to buy a
Yeah.
striker or another attacker. So I don't want to give us too much to do. It's like we need to keep some players. So hopefully he does stay.
Yeah, I mean, just on those strikers, mate. Lewandowski is obviously one that not I wouldn't say like massive links with, but like Chelsea would kind of be keen to sign him if a move to Barcelona falls through. I mean, if that move to Barca were to fall through, I mean, would you be excited by the prospect of Lewandowski coming, or is it one of those that we've seen it all before with the likes of Torres, Lukaku, Shevchenko, etc., with big name strikers coming in and just not delivering despite their record in other places? I mean, would Lewandowski be a good move, do you think?
Depends on the creators we have. Like if we sign Gnabry and Sterling, I mean, probably not. Although Gnabry and Lewandowski do play together, so yeah, no, I think Lewandowski's gone to Barca anyway. To be honest with you, I keep seeing more about it. Barca seem to
Yeah.
be frauding their way into signing players somehow. So yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll go there. But yeah, I'd be excited, of course. Like it's Lewandowski and stuff. But I mean, our record with strikers has just been awful. So
It's terrible, isn't it? It's terrible. Do you just last thing, mate? Do you think we actually will sign a striker, or do you think
no.
do you think we're
Well,
moving away from that model now, and we're very much going with just kind of like versatile forward players. You know, do you not think? I don't think we're going to have we might not see an out-and-out centre forward at Chelsea for the next few years. I mean, do you think that's fair to say? We're more going down the route of kind of versatile wide players.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we're not really linked with too many strikers, mate. So it's really only Lewandowski, to be honest with you, or we keep Broja. Ronaldo, obviously, I don't see Ronaldo coming.
No, I can't see that happening now.
Yeah, I don't know, because like, although we've been rumored to obviously been maybe potentially selling Broja, we've not really had any links to sort of say who his replacement would be. So yeah, no, I'm not sure. It's still early days on this, I think.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, to be honest, mate, there's not really that many top quality strikers out there that are available other than Lewandowski. No one else of like what I would say the required quality is kind of available, or a deal is going to be, you know, financially viable. But I think we just have to kind of watch this space on that one. But yeah, mate, it seems like a good point to round out. Mate, thank you so much for joining me as always. Absolute pleasure. Make sure you check out Pys on Twitter, guys, and check out his website as well. Both linked in the description, so go and check those out. Thanks as always for getting involved in the chat. Please do smash a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel on your way out if you haven't done already. Chelsea are back in action on Saturday for the first game of the pre-season tour. I'll be back in a few days with some more news if any updates occur. But until then, guys, take care and up the Chels.